A big hello to you. My name is Jon Cheek. I'm the founder of UniTasterDays, and this is a really quick step-by-step guide in terms of how to do free things on UniTasterDays.com. Number one, how to go ahead and register for an events account so you can go ahead and actually post events. Number two, how to manage events. That might be adding new events, that might be editing existing events. And then number three, how to create school groups. And what I mean by creating school groups is where you can go on the site, create a school group, and then target events at certain schools and colleges. So if you did want to do that, I'll show you how to do that here as well. But with that in mind, I'm just going to share my screen now and then go through step by step each aspect of that. Great stuff. So we are on now the UniTasterDays.com homepage. And from there, to register an events account, you just need to click the University Partners section and then click on Register to Add Events. Once you've done so, you get a bit of information on what the benefits of adding events, and you've got the link crucially to register now. One thing just before I click that is just to stress that if you're a member institution, and I'm sure you are if you're watching this video, you can list unlimited events, but also you can have unlimited user accounts. So you can have as many people at your institution adding events as you'd like. And events can be added for school groups, so careers colleagues, heads of sixth form, heads of year 11, subject teachers booking university events for their school groups. You can also list events for individual students. You can list events for parents and guardians, and you can also list CPD opportunities for school colleagues as well. So things like your teachers conference if you run one. So on the Register Now events page, it's also got a link to this video on it. So if colleagues are contacting you and saying they want to add events and etc. and sending you the events, you might therefore say, you know what, I'll send you the details so you can go ahead and add events directly. But on this page, you click Register Now, and that will take you to the Register menu. On that page, it's really simple. It's just a case of selecting your institution, popping in your name, your job title, your email address, and confirming your email just so we can make sure we've got the right one. You then get a question that says, are you a central contact for your institution? What we mean by this is if you are a central contact, it'll allow you to see all events listed by your institution. If you select no, it means you can only see, in terms of editing, events you personally added. So let me give you an example of why you might use either option. So if, for example, you once a year, you have a student ambassador that comes in to add your open days and taster days, but they only do that once a year, you might then go for no, because you don't need them to see everyone else's events. You just need them to post their own. Do that, and then that's probably their job done for the year. So they don't need to have any access after that. But then yes, the benefits of yes means that if colleagues, if you're in a big team and colleagues have added events and perhaps the dates change or the event's been cancelled, you will be able to see all events your institution has listed. So if you click yes, you can see events your colleagues have added as well. It's not a case where you just have one central contact. You can have as many central contacts as you like. So I usually recommend teams, if they are in the position where they're part of a big team or even a small team and colleagues might be away and multiple people would find it useful to have access, I would always go for yes to that option, and you can have unlimited numbers of central contacts. The next option you've got is, are you a regional contact? Now, this is for our regional events platform to allow schools and colleges to find regional university contacts. If you just want to add events, you'd click no there. But if you do also want to appear in that regional section, for example, if you work for a certain university and your area that you're responsible for is London or Newcastle or anywhere else, you might click yes to that. And if you click yes to that, it will then ask you for your nearest, well, for free schools that you work with, just so we can plot on a map those schools that you've got. And then you've got the options here. You can see that here we're putting those details in, and it then lists a menu. But for most users, I'd imagine that for most users, it'll be no to that regional contact. Just then check you're happy with how we use your data in terms of our privacy policy. And once you've read that and understood that and are happy with it, it's just a case of clicking yes and then clicking register now. So in terms of the first step, in terms of registering for an events account, that is all there is to it. What will happen then is you'll then get a link sent from us to your email address. And if you follow that link, it will allow you to set a password. And then that is when you will then go into the admin area. So now I'm going to skip to step 2 in terms of how to go ahead and add new events and manage existing events. Right, then we're on step 2 now, and that's how to add and edit existing events. So the first step you need to do is just click the View Add Events option. So once you're in the admin area, which you've logged into because you would have had a link to set your password, You then click View Add Events, and that will allow you to edit existing events, but also add new ones. Now, I'm just logged in here in terms of a test account on UniTasterDays, so you won't see this. This is just a test platform that we've got here. But when you're on there, the first thing I'll show you is how to add a new event. So you just click there, Add New Event. What that'll do is then load a template in terms of adding events. So you can see here, it's very, very, very self-explanatory, but you've got the event title. So you just pop in details in terms of what the event is called. You've then got a drop down for where the event is delivered. You've got another drop down there for the type of event it is. You've got then a drop down, sorry, you've got an option then in terms of has the event got a minimum number of students. So that's useful if it's, for example, an event where it's a personal statement workshop and you can only deliver it for 15 or more students. You'll just put that in there. But you don't need to put anything in there. It only appears if you've got if you've completed that option. You've then got a drop down there for how long the event is. And then you've got the date option. Now, events could be added that have a date or where you just want to invite general contact from a school or a college. So, for example, if it's a personal statement workshop and you can potentially deliver at any point, you might just go for bespoke dates and then you encourage schools to contact you. Or if it's an open day, you click specific dates, and then from there, you then list the dates the event has. So if it's the 23rd of August, the 24th of August, etc., you just select those options. And then the beauty is once that date passes, the event will then automatically be removed from the site. If you don't select a date, the event will stay on until you choose to remove it. Again, if the event has a booking deadline, now this is optional, you don't need to complete this, but if the event has a booking deadline for things like residentials, you then have the option of selecting a booking deadline there as well. And then that loads in exactly the same way. From there, after that, you've got the option to add an event summary. So this is what a user would see about the event without clicking it. So it's very brief details about the event. The idea is it provides a snapshot of what the event is, and then fingers crossed, users think, you know what, that sounds really interesting. I'm going to click through and find the full details. You've also got the full event description. So that's where you can add full event details about the event, which users would see once they click through to the event. You've then got the subject areas. So what subject area the event is. Is it a general event? Is it a certain subject? And again, you're just ticking whichever option is suitable for that. You've then got the event suitable for field. So who the event is suitable for. Is it suitable for bookings by teachers? Is it suitable for bookings by individuals? Is it a CPD event for teachers? Is it an event that families and parents can book on? Again, this is just collecting information so that we can then provide a really useful platform so that users can search for particular events. You've then got the call to actions. So where would you like the event interest to go to? You don't have to select an email and a website. You just need one of the two, but you can choose to select both. So the email address is where you want users that are interested to send their inquiries to, and that can be different for every single event you add. You've also got the website, which is where users would click through to. So if you've got it's an open day and you've got a booking form on your website, you might just then put the web address in. That will then display as a button in terms of the event. And then that's what users click to get to it. And then the final option is where you can select if the event is for specific schools. And I'll show you how you do that in just a second. Or if you just want to get the event ready, but not post it on the live site, you just then click hide event and then click add event. And what that'll do is save all the details. And then when bookings open or you're ready for it to be added, you can then untick that, click add event again, and then it will save those event details. And that, quite simply, in terms of how to add events, is all there is to it. It's just a case of completing the different event options we have. And all of these are used on the site. So we don't ask any information that's not used. Hopefully, you'll therefore see that it's quite a brief form and pretty easy in order to go ahead and complete it. Now, just linked to adding events, the other option I wanted to just mention is how to copy an existing event and also how to edit an existing event. So, for example, you've gone ahead and you've added an event, but you've got a very similar event that you want to add that might be a discovery day in a certain subject, and then you've got another topic, another discovery day in a different subject. So you don't want to do it all again. What you can then do is find the event in the View Add Events area, and then just click this option here, which is copy. What that will do is just load all the event details as a copy, and then you can then go ahead and just change what you wanted to, and then from there, add event, and it will then load that event as a new event, but using the existing information. So that might speed things up for you. But the other thing you might want to do is edit an existing event. And in order to do that, all you do is click View Add Events. That'll show you all events that are currently live. And then either click the edit icon here, and the other icon, just for your information, is to preview it. But that's the edit icon, or you literally can just click the event. And then on there, you just literally change what you wanted to, and then click Save Changes. But the final thing I'm going to show you is how to add events for school groups, which is the option just here. And in terms of adding events for school groups, the reason we allow you to do that, or the reason it's available to do that, is some universities have events that are only for certain schools. So if you have events that are only for certain schools, you might want to create a school group. And then by creating the school group, when you're actually adding an event, you can then associate that school group with the event. So the reason we do it that way is if you add the event and always have to select which schools they're for, it becomes quite cumbersome and tedious. We've allowed the option to create the school group and then associate it with any events you'd like. And just to summarize again how you do that, if I just click go into one of my edit screens, you've then got the option right at the end that will say display this event for certain schools, and then you select that school group when you do that. But to actually edit or create a school group, you just click this school group option just here. From there, you've got existing school groups created. So these are the existing ones. These are just test ones I've created previously. So if you wanted to edit those, it works exactly the same way as the events, where you literally just click it and then you can add or delete school groups. But then you can also create new school groups. So add new school group just there. I'm just going to put in test. You can see I've got loads of tests already. Click test. It will then create that school group for you. And then from there, you just click that and then add more schools to it. So you pop in a postcode. If I just put in the postcode of a school that's close to here, W16, Bridgnorth McDowell School, Oberau School, the two schools that are really close to me in Bridgnorth. You might then want to say 50 miles and then select more schools. And it's literally a case of just ticking the options of those schools that you would like to be part of that school group. And it will always just update itself and save automatically. So that's been a really useful guide in terms of number one, how to go ahead and register for an events account. Number two, how to add new events, copy existing events so that they're new events using a copy template, and also how to edit existing events. And then the third aspect is then how to create a school group and use school groups when you add your listings. One just final tip I could give you about school groups is if I was in your shoes, I would only be creating school groups and using school groups if an event has to be targeted. The reason I say that is users on UniTasterDays are asked which school they're from. And if they type in their school and tell us who they are, then they'll then see your targeted events. But not all users do that, no matter how hard we try. So if they don't tell us who they are and they just want to search general events, they'll only see your event when they put in the school they're from. So if it has to be targeted, by all means, go ahead and target it. But if it's an event that is ideally for certain schools, but is open to all, if I was in your shoes, I personally would be not targeting that event and just making it a general listing. And if you find you're getting lots of interest from schools that aren't on your target list or the event isn't for, you can always go back into the event, edit it, and then target it from there. I hope that's been really handy. As with all our resources, we're really, really happy to help. So if I can contact you in any way, or Helen or anyone else in the account team can help you when it comes to adding events, we're really happy to come to team meetings and give step-by-step guides or support colleagues individually. Just contact me using info@unitasterdays.com. Thank you very much. See you soon.